Okay, you know that feeling, right? You're on the couch, your phone is in your hand, the room's kind of quiet, and you just know there's something else you should be doing. That big project, that email, that promise you made, but your thumb just keeps scrolling, and there's that little hum of shame starting to build up, and you tell yourself, it's fine, I'll start when I feel ready. Well, this right here, this is a field manual for breaking that exact cycle.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The whole idea here is so powerful because it's actually gentle. It's telling you the problem isn't some deep, fundamental flaw in who you are. You don't need to completely reinvent yourself. Nope, the problem is just your approach. And the solution? It's way smaller and a whole lot kinder than you think. It's all about finding one tiny little door you can actually open.
So let's get right to it. What if I told you that everything you've ever believed about your own procrastination, that it all comes down to being lazy, is just flat out wrong? What if the real enemy isn't laziness at all? Here's the thing about the word lazy. It's a total dead end. It's a label that gives you an excuse, sure, but it offers zero solutions. The truth is, your brain is just trying to protect you. It's a survival instinct kicking in, not some kind of moral failure. So we need to find a better, more accurate way to talk about what's actually going on here. So what is this threat your brain is dodging? Well, it usually boils down to one of these four things, the four frictions. First up, you've got ambiguity. This is when a task is just a big foggy cloud, like work on the presentation. Your brain has no idea where to start, so it doesn't. And then there's exposure. That's the fear of being judged, that feeling in your stomach right before you have to hit send. Third, we've got boredom. You know this one. It's that mind-numbing work that makes your brain scream for literally any distraction. And finally, low energy. This one's simple, you're just running on empty. But here's the good news. Every single one of these is a specific, solvable problem.
Okay, so if the problem isn't a lack of discipline, then the solution can't be more willpower. It just can't. Instead, we need a totally new philosophy for how we get things done. And it's this: design beats discipline. Every time.
And that is the core shift right there. The old way, the discipline way, is basically asking a tired, stressed out human to act like a perfect robot. It's a losing battle. The new way is to become an architect of your own environment. It's about designing your space and your schedule so that starting the task becomes the easiest possible choice. You're removing the friction before you ever have to use an ounce of willpower. So what does this design look like in real life? Honestly, it's super simple stuff. It's putting a little sticky note on your keyboard with the very first verb for tomorrow's task. It's creating a phone shelf behind you so it's not the first thing you grab. Or just putting your running shoes right by the door so that a short walk feels effortless. See? These are tiny physical tweaks that do a massive amount of the mental heavy lifting for you. All right, so we've identified the real enemy and we've got our new philosophy. Now it's time to open up the toolkit. These are these simple, practical things you can literally start doing today. Think of them as the three core rails that are going to hold everything else up. Here they are. It's that simple. Number 1, start ugly. 5. That means 5 messy, imperfect minutes on the actual task. And this is key, you stop on time. Number 2, ship at 1600. Just send a rough draft with one simple question. Get it out the door. And number 3, log the proof. At the end of the day, write down one single line that proves you did something. Notice how tiny these are? This isn't a plan for someday. This is for right now. Let's just zoom in on start ugly for a second, because this one is the absolute game changer. The magic is not in the 5 minutes of work. The magic is in the promise you make to yourself that you will stop on time. By doing that, you're teaching your nervous system that starting something isn't a trap. It's not a commitment to 5 hours of misery. It's just a short, safe visit. And that builds trust, which makes it so much easier to start again tomorrow. And this right here, this flips a huge myth on its head. We spend so much of our lives waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. But that's completely backwards. The feeling doesn't come first. The action comes first. Action is what summons the feeling. You've got to strike the match to get the flame. Okay, so this is where all these little pieces start to connect into something way bigger. These tools aren't just tricks to get tasks done. They feed into this incredibly powerful feedback loop that can actually change how you see yourself. It is all about building proof. Think about that voice in your head, right? It probably sounds a lot like the stuff on the left. That whole tangled mess of excuses we tell ourselves. I'll wait till I can do it perfectly, or just, I'm so lazy. But what if you could replace that static with the new scripts on the right? They're not just positive thinking, they're tiny, clear instructions.
5 ugly minutes. Stop on time. This isn't me. This is just friction. How can I make it smaller? This is literally how you rewrite your own internal monologue. And you can't just wake up one day and decide to trust yourself. It doesn't work that way. Self-trust is built, brick by brick, from the memory of promises you actually kept. And that's where the proof ledger comes in. At night, you just log the receipts, not how you felt about the work, not how good it was, just the plain, simple fact. You did the thing you said you'd do. No essays, just receipt. So what we're really doing is trading in the drama of procrastination, the all-nighters, the heroic saves, for something quieter, reliability. We're just building a consistent, steady practice. And the funny thing is, reliability often leads to much better, more beautiful work anyway, because you're getting feedback early when you can actually still do something with. All right, let's make this totally real. Right now, I want you to think of one tiny promise that you know for a fact you can keep. Write it down, not in an app, on a physical card or a sticky note. Then put it right where your hesitation always lives, on your computer monitor, the TV remote, wherever. By doing that, you've just signed a little contract with your hands. You've made that first step tangible. And that kind of leaves us with this final thought, that feeling we're all chasing, right? That feeling of motivation, of readiness, of inspiration. It's not going to magically appear while you're sitting on the couch. It's there, but it's waiting for you, hiding just on the other side of that tiny 5-minute ugly start. So the only question is, are you ready to go look for it?